Hola, buenas tardes, señorita.
¿Cómo estás, pendeja? No, pendeja.
¿Ves?
A wall is an immorality. It's not who we are as a nation.
¡Cállate! ¡Mentirosa charlatana! ¡Bruja del demonio!
No, it has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with a wall is an immorality between countries. It's an old way of thinking. It isn't cost effective.
¿Callas porque me quieres ver la cara de estúpida?
Pues ya la tienes, no hay
Pues
necesidad.
chima pito, pendeja.
La greñuda eres.
Pendeja, ¿de qué te ríes? ¿De qué te ríes, estúpida? ¿De qué te ríes? Estúpida, estúpida, ¿de qué te ríes?
The wall, in my view, is an immorality. It is, again, a waste of money.
Que es una estúpida, chinga tu verga, pero eso sales así toda greñuda, pendeja. Estás bien pendeja, tú. Adiós y bye.
Hey everybody, Roger here. Hope you guys are all having a great day. I got a little gripe to make. The last couple of mornings I've been waking up, and again, we've been dealing with this for the last couple of years. Realistically, we've been dealing with this since, God, the 60s, but it started getting overbearing in the 80s. Basically, what I'm talking about is illegal border crossings. I wake up every morning now, the last week, we've been having all of these updates about a flood of immigrants coming into Arizona. And Arizona is a pretty big epidemic here now. And, people, they're at the border. And there's audio of this. I'm listening to it as I'm getting ready for work. And these people get up to the border. They speak to an agent. And then they just say, we are here because we're escaping whatever they're escaping from. And then they're required to be allowed into the U.S. I mean, obviously there's a lot of in between there, but that's the gist of it. And then they have, they're going to be in here 2 to 3 years indefinitely, and the majority of them, again, the most important thing here, the majority of them never come back to see a judge, never come back to discuss their situation or anything. And the Democrats, and anybody who supports this kind of a method are the ones that are dangerous to America. Okay, poor Democrats that watch my channel, listen to me on this. And a lot of you know this. I'm not trying to preach or anything, but listen to me on this if you can. What good is it to keep voting Democrat? What good is it to keep voting Democrat when their priorities are to give incentives to illegal aliens coming into America over you? What priority is it for you to vote Democrat if all the jobs that you're going to get out there are going to be taken over by illegal aliens? Guess who benefits off of that? It's the business owners who hires these illegal aliens, who should also be reprimanded as well. And you don't benefit from it. Mexico benefits from this because those people working here, the majority of them have families that they still ship, or that they still send money back over to Mexico or other countries as well. Guatemala, anything.
Western Union, a leader in global payment services, has outperformed in one of the oldest and most competitive remittance markets in the world, Mexico. In 2015, remittances to Mexico reached $24.8 billion, according to Banco de Mexico, 4.75% more than the year before.
Yes, you can say we are winning in Mexico. And Mexico is the most competitive corridor and one of the oldest one around the globe. This is not happening by chance or coincidence, it's happening by design. Western Union's fintech capability has been critical for our success in Mexico. We are connecting more people through more channels with speed and ease.
Remittances are important to the economic security of families and are primarily used for food, housing, and education. While the U.S. represents more than 90% of the money moved into Mexico, Western Union transferred money into Mexico from more than 180 countries last year. The U.S. to Mexico is the largest Western Union international corridor.
This is not happening by chance or coincidence, it's happening by design.
Well, duh. how does the math add up for you? How does the math add up for you for it being beneficial to you to move up out into the real world, to get out of poverty when you keep voting for this obstacle? This is one of the main items. This is probably the main item of the Democrat ticket. They want to make sure that they can get people under their belt who are going to be consistently voting for them. They talk all this big talk about reparations.
I believe it's time to start the national, full-blown conversation about reparations in this country.
Do you support reparations for Black people?
Well, listen, again. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act.
If you smell what the rock.
Don't talk to me like that.
Sorry, Grandma.
How would that even be divided? I mean, I never caused slavery. You're not gonna fucking tax me for any shit. You know, I pay enough taxes as it is, and it's just ridiculous. But you keep voting against your best interests. You know, and then when you go out and look for a job, if you're young and Black, you go out and look for a job. Some of the questions they ask you, are you bilingual? And again, I'm not saying every person, but these are people who are probably looking for entry-level jobs that would pay minimum wage, a little bit more maybe. They're asking you, hey, are you bilingual? If you're not, guess what? There's a precedent. There's somebody above you, and that somebody is an illegal alien. Some businesses will pay under the table. Some businesses will pay just a lower rate. You know, again, and then imagine this. Again, I don't understand how come people don't think of this stuff before they vote. The millions and millions of illegal aliens who are working the jobs in America, it brings down our wages. The more we bring them in here, the more jobs there are that they hold, that they're okay with receiving less pay just so long as they're working, because the American dollar is worth more in Mexico than it is here. The less likely that you're going to get hired for a fair wage anyways. And then when you guys ask for a minimum wage, fuck that bullshit too. Your ambition should be to move up in the world. It shouldn't be to raise the minimum wage. We see what happens every time the minimum wage gets raised in certain states. New York, you know, there was a recently they had a state minimum wage hike, I believe, up to like $15 an hour. Well, guess what? A lot of people were put down to part-time. So they're still realistically making the same amount of money. They have to work harder, and then some people still get fired within said same company. It doesn't add up. I don't understand everything, but I have a decent enough grasp to know that bringing in more choices for employers is going to mean less of an opportunity for me. And that's the same with H-1B visa as well. Along with them, people normally bringing in a lot of disease and everything. Oh my God, it's just insane. And that's another thing, you know, when we keep bringing in all these people who are foreign, and a lot of them, especially when they come through the southern border, most of the time they will not get checked out for diseases. There's no time to for some of these people. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've read. And if this is the case, if they aren't checked out for that, why do you think people are coming down with all these diseases again that we've never heard of? So anyways, the math doesn't add up why people keep wanting to allow illegal aliens to come in. And then you have people, again, like these rich snobby ass motherfuckers like the Who's the Boss girl, Alyssa Milano, Cher, Bette Midler. You have the regular blue checks who always say, oh no, we got to take in illegal immigrants and I'll open my doors up to them. Again, I encourage you guys to go watch that Rebel Media. There's other videos too, but there's a Rebel Media video where they're asking people, oh, would you open up your doors to a refugee or illegal immigrant or whatever? And then they say, oh, yes, of course. You know, we all got to love everybody and yada, yada, yada.
And would you ever be willing to house a refugee?
Well, definitely yes, because they need a lot of help and also new country, new everything, weather, new, different from back home, and yeah, why not? Everybody needs help, and if you are able to help, for sure.
Would you guys ever be willing to house a refugee?
Yes, maybe yes.
And would you personally be ever willing to open your home?
Definitely.
And do you think personally, would you ever be willing to house a refugee?
Depends how many.
But then when those same people are put to the test and there's actually a refugee there or a asylum seeker or whatever, or an illegal alien, they're like, oh no, well, the house is not clean, or I only have a 1-bedroom or whatever. Excuses come out of their fucking ass.
We have a refugee named Mo with us here today. He's new to Canada. He is looking for a place to stay. He's looking for a home. Do you think he can go home with you?
Not today, but I'd have to look into it.
Okay, is it like tomorrow, this week? Is there any possibility?
Depends. Okay.
Yeah, so we have Mo here with us today. He's new to Canada and he is looking for a place to stay.
Yeah.
Would you guys be able to house him?
Not immediately, but we will definitely consider about that.
So we actually have someone here today that we are looking for a home. This is Mo. We are looking.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. Yeah.
Do you think that Mo would be able to go home with you today?
Well, not right off the bat.
So he actually is looking for a new home. He is new to Canada. Would you guys be willing to house Mo?
Unfortunately, we have only 1 bedroom because we are living in a condo, so we have only 1 bedroom. There is no more space for one person, but there is a lot of opportunity here around. For sure, he will find something that can help him.
We have Mo here with us today. He is actually new to Canada and looking for a home. Do you think Mo can find a home with you guys?
Probably not with us.
Again, I emphasized this in my last video. The people who pay for this the most, and this is what people like AOC and all these other stupid ass proponents of extreme socialism advocate for, is just basically making it to where we allow everybody to come in and that the rich are going to pay for it all. That's another cost to illegal immigration. 116 to 132 billion annually, and we're supposed to be getting millions more this year of illegal immigrants. I mean, that's more cost. This narrative from the left, this narrative from the mainstream left media, from your left-leaning politicians, they say illegal immigration is not a problem. We need to let everybody in with open arms. Again, the open arms comes at a cost to the working class, to people like you and me. And I'm like, okay, no, because then it always comes back to us. Have you noticed that? Always comes back to us. It doesn't go back to Cher. She's got some great people working with her to do whatever they can with her taxes and stuff. So does Alyssa Milano. They're not fucking oppressed. Anna Navarro's not fucking Latina. She's nothing. She is nothing. She's a fucking phony. She's a fraud.
It must be so nice to be a white male.
¿Qué es eso? Cállate los hijos.
Sex.
Cochino.
That's all I got to say. I just wanted to give you guys my 2 cents on this little illegal immigration rant, the epidemic that we have going on the Arizona border at this point. It is bad. It is bad. I'm hearing it in the news all the time here. I'm hearing it when I get up on the radio on my alarm clock, and I'm listening to it, and it's just ridiculous. There's people. Here's the really shitty part. There's a lot of groups out there right now who, now that they see the influx of illegals coming in, they're extending their arms and trying to help them out. There's one person who went ahead and paid for a flight for Greyhound tickets, which again, when you go on Greyhound, don't you have to present an ID? I mean, if Greyhound is allowing a lot of illegals to go across the nation in their vehicles, isn't that a liability to a lot of people who actually have to bring their ID on Greyhound? I'm almost certain they do, because I had to take Greyhound about 10 years back from Colorado to Phoenix, and I had to have all this ID and information. I don't see how anybody who's illegal can get a pass. It's fucking ridiculous, in my opinion. And that's another way how people get sick and everything. We don't know what diseases they're carrying at that point, and now they're spreading it infectious in a Greyhound bus. So again, another reason to build the wall. I'm going all over the place here, but these people come out of the woodwork. Instead of helping our vets, instead of helping the homeless, they come and help illegal immigrants get from Arizona to Georgia or Tennessee, where these people had family. Give me a fucking break. Are they ever going to come back to see the judge? Not that person and their 7 kids. It's ridiculous. Anyways, those are my thoughts right now. It's just a rant. This is completely off the cuff here. Let me know what you guys think. What are your guys' gripes about the wall right now? About the wall not being up? What are your guys' gripes about all of this obstruction going on and all of these politicians telling us that we don't need a wall, yet it's not coming out of their... Yet when we start sending their illegal aliens over to their sanctuary cities, they get pissed off. It's like, you asked for it. Open your doors. We didn't ask for it. Let's see how it works out. All right. I don't think Trump has the power to really enforce going into certain sanctuary cities, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's some rules that could be bent. Hopefully, he has some good attorneys that can, or advisors that can steer him that direction. That'd be great. All right, guys, like, hate, subscribe, unsubscribe, share, don't share. I do love it all. Peace out.
You know what, Grandma? Because of you, I am hooked on novellas. I may not understand them, but their acting skills are on fleek. Esperanza. Hey, Fernando. Yo te quiero. Ay, Fernando, yo te quiero mucho. ¿Pero qué, Fernando? Pero yo soy gay.